we will go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone, welcome. Again, I'm Courtney with Staylist. We have a great team that is going to be presenting to you guys today. So, we'll go ahead and get started. So, today is about capturing callers and what that looks like when it comes to an integration within Staylist. So, and what Staylist has to offer for you. So, scenarios that CallTrak delivers is going to be our topic for number one. Two is going to be employee performance, and what that looks like is you as an operator or manager within your property, marketing ROI, and then the chatbot advantage. So we know that the industry is ever changing and that we have to adapt, because if we don't adapt, we get left behind. So we have to make sure that everything that we provide for our guest and the guest experience is top notch for everyone who enters our properties. So why call management matters? So obviously we love to talk about, ways to boost revenue, ways to boost occupancy, and then have the ultimate guest experience within our park. But every missed call is a potential for a lost booking or lost revenue. And that lost booking or lost revenue could mean a lost value for the lifetime of your property. So with CallTrak, we really take a step back and are able to step forward and be innovative and provide that value for your customers and for your guests. So callers don't like sitting on hold. How many times do you call into like an airline and they're like, you're a number 57 in the queue. Do you want us to call you back? And you're like, yeah, I guess. And so then you hang up, they call you back 3 hours later, and you're doing yard work and you didn't hear your phone ring. And then all of a sudden you got to start all over again. So with CallTrak, there's no more sitting on hold. And we'll get into that in a little bit. 80% of callers won't leave a voicemail. So, we really have to take a step back and look at the people that are coming to our properties now. We're entering into all of these new realms of millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Xs, of these people who are coming to stay on our parks, and what they are experiencing or what they expect to experience when it comes to guest experience. And phone lines equal revenue channels. Obviously, we know that answering a phone is a guest services tool, but it's more than that, right? It's talking to somebody and them asking you, do you have a pool? And then you say, yes. Is your pool heated? You say yes again. And then those two yeses turn into a booking. But if you don't have anyone to answer that call, then what does it turn into? Turns into a loss, right? So we want to make sure that with CallTrak, that we are taking that step forward and turning this guest services tool into a revenue driver for your park. And lastly, with AI, you can ensure that answering calls, you're capturing leads, and that you're boosting that guest experience all through the park.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. I'm going to take a minute just to kind of launch a quick Q&A of why call management matters, and what the average missed calls are at a park. Everyone could just take a second and put their guesses into what they think the amount of misses are, and we'll review them in just a second.
Yeah, and like I was just talking about, 80% of callers won't leave a voicemail. How many times do you call your mom or your aunt and you just hang up the phone, right? The thing is you're going to shoot them a text, hey, call me back. You're not going to leave a voicemail. And if they don't see it, then they're not going to call you back. So then you got to call them again. So it's one of those things that, with the ability to do this, and you're going to have a lower amount of missed calls and less likely to sit in the queue for your park. So perfect.
And so, just so you know, everyone responded with 16 to 30 missed calls.
16 to 30. Can you imagine if those 16 to 30 ended up being bookings? How much extra revenue that you would have gotten for your park, either that month or that year or that week or that day, and turned that into a new guest on your property. So what does CallTrak provide? So there's going to be three different types of answering services that are encompassed within CallTrak, right? So one is going to be a full AI reservationist. So you're going to have someone who's going to answering the calls all the time. Hi, having a great day at so and so RV park. How can I help you today? It's going to answer these FAQ questions for you. It's going to turn these questions into bookings, or maybe it's just for a booking, right? All of these are ways that this full AI can be a person for you, an additional employee that your park did not have before. So when you think full AI reservationist, right? You're like, okay, well, how am I going to use that within my property? Well, let's just say that you're a small park, right? And you're a one-man band. You have a electrical outage that you need to go to that pedestal, look at, fix. Well, while you're out of the office, that full AI reservationist is continuing to take calls, continuing to take in these questions that you might not have time to answer. So really taking that as a full and time employee while you're out in the park, getting your hands dirty, doing what you need to do to be able to keep your park up and running, AI is covering that for you. The second is going to be overflow calls. So first it's going to ring to you a few times. And if you have a line out the door because it's 3 o'clock and that's what time check-in is, and you don't have time to turn around and answer that question because you're dealing with face-to-face guests, that AI is going to ring over to them and they're going to answer that question for you. You're not going to miss that booking. You're not going to miss that guest. You're not going to miss that question. These are all ways that the overflow coverage of your AI reservationist is going to be able to take the reins for these bookings and convert them to extra additional revenue. And then third is going to be after hours coverage. So we all know that we can't be at our park or our property 24/7, right? We know that our employees can't work 24/7 either. So having someone be here from 8 to 8, but then who's answering the calls from 8 to 8 the next morning, right? So you're going to have an AI that is your after hours coverage that maybe they are getting bookings, or maybe there's an emergency in the park and they transfer that call over to you or to your head of maintenance, or your head of security, or however you run your property to be able to assist when it comes to issues within the park. Or maybe they're just calling to ask if you have a pool, and then the answer is yes, and then you get to rock and roll from there. So these are all after hours coverage that you might not ever had before, or you might not have thought, is going to provide you any sort of additional business or additional revenue. But I know just as well as you do that you come in after a long day of work and a nice night with your family, and you come and check your voicemail, and all of a sudden you have 12 voicemails. And you're like, who called me between 12 hours when I wasn't here to 12 hours when I got back to work? And that is going to be all covered with the CallTrak AI service that it can provide for you. And then employment engagement and tracking. This is one of my favorite things that CallTrak has to offer because, again, we are on the ground running, right? We can't be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we cannot be watching our employees every chance that we can, right? We don't want to be micromanagers. We want to be able to give them the tools to be successful, the tools to be able to provide, our guests the kind of experience that we want within our park. So with the CallTrak, employment side of things, you can really track in real time. And we're going to dig into that a little bit. And I'll show you some really cool screenshots of what it looks like within CallTrak. But the employment engagement, the training, the accountability that you can have within this tool. And lastly, marketing insights. We all want to know where our money's going. We talk about marketing. Why are we not getting bookings? Where are we falling short? These are all things that AI can provide for you and that CallTrak can show you in real time where all of your money's going. So we'll do a little deep dive there as well. So first, let's just look at the dashboard. So here is going to be real time for you. Obviously, today is Tuesday. It's the 12th. We have 15 calls coming in. We've missed 3. This is not a full AI reservationist park because if it was, then this would be 0 because that call would have been answered for you. But this is just going to show you as a operator, as a manager, what you can see in real time on your dashboard, how many calls were converted into business. Maybe this is a good way to see who you need to schedule for the day because you see that your calls, are lower in the mornings, but they pick up around lunchtime and then they stay heavy until 5 p.m. So you know how to, place your employees when it comes to managing that way. And then here you can see the campaigns, right? Campaigns are marketing. So where are marketing dollars going? How many calls are coming from all of these marketing tactics that we're trying to put into our business, and how can we convert those into dollars? So employee performance. So as an operator, as a manager, obviously a big success feature within CallTrak is going to be this training that you have real-time opportunities to look at, observe, and take back to your staff and say, hey, let's change this, let's alter this. How can we make this better? And then the staff performance. The AI is going to listen into your phone calls. It's going to give you real summaries of, transcripts of what they talked about. It's going to record the calls for you for quality assurance. It's going to give you a sentiment analysis. So it's going to say it's a positive conversation, it's a neutral conversation, or it's a negative conversation. And we know that if we're having a negative conversation within our guests, maybe we need to take that employee, have a talk with them and say, hey, how can we make this better? Or what are you doing that is, triggering a negative response through this AI call track? And then really be able to take, a back seat and say, okay, what can I do as a manager, as a supervisor, as an operator to change the performance of my employees and really make it better for my park? And last is going to be employee reporting. So you get to see who your top agents are. So maybe when it comes time for Christmas and you're giving out bonuses, you know that Nick is just killing the game. You know that Jessica might need a little bit of help. And you know that Kim, might be pushing it and is almost better than Nick. So that's how you can really tier all of your agents, your reservationists, and award them at the end of the year. Or inbound resources, right? You can see who's converting calls. Maybe it's not just about the money. Maybe you want to look at the sentiments. Maybe you do want to look at the conversions of, they did an upsell of early check-in, or they helped this person site lock. These are all things that you're going to be able to see real time. And then the conversion data. The beautiful thing about CallTrak, it is living being within Staylist, and it is going to be able to be the top notch for you to be able to work on Staylist through your property management software and have real time pull up on the side, see what calls are coming in, see who's answering these phone calls, and see what calls you're missing. So we're going to look real quick at the call logs, and we're going to talk about the integration a little bit, and then Chase is going to show it to you. So right here on CallTrak, right, you see our good friend Cameron Brown. He called in from Atlanta, Georgia, and sweet little Haley is the agent that answered, right? She had a positive response with this guest. The AI that was listening into the conversation gave her a 5-star review. She was very professional, helpful, and clear, which we obviously see that because it turned into a conversion amount of $250, meaning that she booked that reservation. Now, the glorious thing about this being integrated and living full face within Staylist is it's going to pull up all the history of our good friend Cameron Brown. It's going to show you all the past reservations that he has within Staylist, the previous calls, and you can see here that the last agent that he talked to was Miss Bonnie. So clearly Bonnie's doing something right too to have him call back in. And we know that our marketing team is rocking and rolling too, because that Google ad that he saw, he clicked in, he called through the Google campaign ad and booked another reservation, his third reservation, obviously, that we can see through Staylist. Here you can see the transcription of the conversation, and then you can listen to it if there was a discrepancy. So quality assurance, like I said, is going to be one of the best cases to be able to listen, train, and look at your employees and say, hey, this is what we need to do, right? And then you can see your average stay. So it bleeding into Staylist, you know that he usually spends about $500 on his reservation, and that's his average stay value. Next is going to be your all of your employee performance. So this is just a small little dashboard. It gets into, the nitty gritty whenever you dive actually into CallTrak. But this here, it's going to tell you all of them, the minutes that they were on the phone, and then the money that was converted during those minutes. So it's really cool to look at side by side as well, because you can see, the time might not be money, right? And vice versa. So you can see that Debbie spent 40 minutes and Megan spent almost an hour and a half, right? But Debbie converted more. So it doesn't necessarily mean that more time on the phone means more money, but those are things that you can gauge with employee tracking and retention, because you want to make sure that you're checking all the boxes there. So now I'm going to pass it to Chase, and Chase is going to show you real time what it looks like on your Staylist dashboard.
Thank you very much. Let me start sharing my screen, and then just let me know whenever you guys see it. All right, perfect. So inside of Staylist, if you haven't noticed already, there is this phone icon right here. And when you click on the phone, you're able to see all of the incoming calls that this account's had. And you'll see right here, unknown incoming call. This is a new number, a new guest that has not stayed with you before. Had they stayed with you before, it would pull up their last name so you can see it. In here, you can go back, and I'm not sure if Zoom will share my audio, so let me know if you can hear this. But here's an example of listening back to a call.
We cannot.
No
Oh,
audio.
darn. Okay, one sec. Let me try to share and see if I can share audio. Anyone have insights on how to share audio in Zoom? My apologies.
No, sir.
Okay, well, let's do this. Go ahead, Nick, and give it a call, but give me one sec. I'll share my screen so we can still see the process as if I'm just a normal everyday user. So go ahead, give it a call. So he stayed with us before, and I'll be quiet so he can talk. If you want,
Can you tell me if you guys have a pool?
Yes, we have a resort style pool that's 25 feet water size. Would you like to take a recreation or ask anything else about the site?
And you can go ahead and hang up, Nick. And now we can go back into that call log. And here just came in. You could listen to it if I could share the audio. I can hear everything that's going on, but pulled up his name because he stayed with us before. We could see his phone and everything whenever it was in progress. Had an actual agent answered, that being someone at your actual front desk, it would have said who had that call and who answered it. And that is the gist of current state right now in Staylist with CallTrak. Be able to see them come in, you get a banner notification, and you can go back, listen to any of them that you would like to. And I will pass it back to you guys.
Perfect. So obviously that's going to be what it looks like on the Staylist dashboard. Whenever what I was showing you prior to was everything that you're seeing on the CallTrak dashboard. So you as an operator have all of the ability to go back and look in real time everything that was happening, with what you were seeing on the Staylist dashboard. So obviously you don't want all of your reservationists to be able to see what everyone's doing, and that's something that you have the capability of as an owner, operator, or manager. So I will go back and share my screen again.
Oh, and before you do that, I'm just going to stop and ask just one quick question. Do you currently track which marketing source drives the most calls to your park? Yes, no, not sure. And then at the end, we'll kind of show results.
So tracking marketing sources is something that we all talk about, right? We all want to know where our money's going, what we're doing with it, what bookings we're getting from all of these different outlets that we're spending our money on. And that's something that we're going to dive into with CallTrak. That's going to be, taking this data, dissecting it, looking at it, showing you real-time numbers, and being able to say, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board because this isn't working for me. Or maybe I need to pump more money into this because I am just getting so many bookings off of, this marketing tactic that I'm doing. So in real time, it's tracking your marketing, it's giving you an ROI, and it's really turning these conversations into conversions.
And just to share the results with you all, currently, only one person answered yes, and the rest are no or not sure. So excited to hear from how CallTrack can help, Courtney.
Yes. So campaigns. So you can take with CallTrack, you get to keep your same numbers. So I just want to go ahead and get that out there. But with your original number that you have, you can take these specific campaign numbers and transfer them to your original line, right? So Facebook's going to have a number, Google's going to have a number. Maybe you have a print ad in Good Sam that has a phone number that's listed on there, and you get to actually track print. What? We talk about all the time how print is dead. Do we spend all these money on brochures? Do we not? What's the ROI of them sitting, um, you know, at a trade show, or sitting at a chamber of commerce, or even just a welcome center, for your state. These are all ways that your print can actually be tracked with a phone number. And CallTrak can do that for you. The next is going to be identifying your top performing ads and marketing channels. So, looking at all the money that you pump into Facebook or Google, or maybe you're using, third party marketing, channels that are trying to show you conversions. Well, this is going to actually dial it in and show you, from a money standpoint, where all your calls and your bookings are coming from. And last, you can adjust your ad spends when it comes to your ROI sources. So, like I said, maybe you pumped $500 into Facebook. That turned into 42 calls. 42 of those calls turned into 27 bookings. And then all of a sudden you made $9,000 in revenue because of this $500 Facebook ad that you put out. This is going to be real-time money that you are looking at, observing, and being able to pump back into your park because you actually know where your marketing dollars are going. So marketing campaign conversions. So here on your CallTrak reports page, you're going to be able to pull up campaigns. So direct dial, obviously that's going to be your phone number, and you can see, how much money is coming from your original line. Facebook, obviously by date, right? Maybe you did a really heavy push for, I don't know, a booking or a weekend in October, right, for Halloween. And then you can see that within these 3 days, you really got a lot of clicks from your Facebook marketing campaign. Good Sam, maybe we shouldn't be spending all this money on Good Sam because the return on investment is not that great. Maybe it ticked up because you re-signed up at a different time and were able to see that return on investment. Your Google ads, you're killing it on Google ads. Maybe you need to pump some more money on there and take it away from one of these other places. This is real-time information that you're going to be able to see per day where all this money is coming from and how much you're spending, where you're spending it, where they're coming from, and be able to really deep dive and take a step back and say, what can I do to push bookings that I know we're going to answer the phone because we're using the AI call service. We know we're not going to have a missed booking because it's going into overflow and my AI reservationist is answering these calls. I know that my employees are getting tracked because I'm doing my due diligence as an operator. And all of this is going to turn into your marketing campaigns, really showing that this is the money, where it's coming from, and how you can put it back into your park. Next is going to be the chatbot advantage. So this is one of my favorite new features when it comes to CallTrak, because I don't know if you're like me, but if I'm calling into somewhere, I don't want to call in. If I have a 5-second question, I want to be able to go onto their website, ask the question, and move on, right? I don't want to sit in a queue. I don't want to wait on hold. I want to know right off the bat, does this place have a pool, right? If I'm going to a hotel, are you pet friendly? I don't know, right? If I go to a park, can I bring my own golf cart? These are all things that these people don't want to wait on a phone call for. They want to be able to go onto your website, be able to ask a question in real time and get an answer just like that. Maybe it has to do with the rules and regulations that they didn't like at a park before you, and they want to make sure you either have or you don't have it, right? These are all questions that you can put into this CallTrak AI chatbot, and it's going to be able to offer a FAQ or even book a reservation and not have to be on the phone at all. Everything is from your fingertips. So it's going to work with guests to capture the messaging over calling and still provide a quick FAQ, right? It's going to answer both park information and reservation related questions. So the cool thing about being on the chatbot too, same thing when you're on the phone. You go to make a reservation with your AI reservationist on the phone. You go to make a reservation with the AI chatbot. It's going to automatically filter and fill in every piece of information that you provided. Rig size, rig type, dates, people, pets, all of these kind of things are going to be able to bleed into that reservation. It's going to send you a reservation link through your text, and then you're going to say yes, book. Or if you're on your desktop, you say yes, book, and it's going to pull up a bookings page All they have to do is stick in their credit card information and voila, you have a booking. And that took no time at all, right? They already knew what they wanted. It was making all of this for you in the back end. And then all you have to do as an operator is check them in when they get there, right? So you know that all of your marketing tactics, all of your techniques that you were doing, how your website looks, all of your what you look like on social media, they're taking that, calling your AI service or going into your chatbot and booking it through there. And then, like I said, the booking link. I mean, how easy is that, right? You're sitting there typing and it's going to do it for you. This new generation, that's what they want. That's what they're looking for. A way to be quick, easy, answer questions without having to dig on your website or talk to somebody on the phone because they can do it all through their fingertips. And this is one of my favorite parts too. We actually have our CTO Vlad on the call today, and he's going to give you guys a little sneak peek of the new AI chatbot through CallTrak.
All right. Thanks, Courtney. Sorry, I was like trying to figure out where the unmute button was. But so this is currently in development and testing. But I have a little example here that I could show you how it functions. And much like the phone calls, you can call in and talk to an AI assistant. You can have the AI assistant has multiple personalities. It can have the more informational personality where it has access to a knowledge base and can pull, information about your swimming pool, like your cancellation policy, different, attractions nearby, whatever you load up with the assistant, both the phone call and the chat system can benefit from it. But it also has a different personality that'll actually allow you to make a reservation. You can ask it for specific availability. It'll ask you what type of site you have, and then it'll actually take you directly into the reservation. And you can do the final steps in your configuration, and then you can reserve that item right there. It's also a tool that can be placed on your website. We have an embed code right here that you can ask your web designer to add it. Once it's added, users will be able to click here. And we found that although currently we still get a lot of phone calls for that demographic for just RV parks in general, phone calls are still king. We do see that in the next, 5 to 10 years, the next generation of the Generation X, Generation Z, they're going to want to chat. They're not going to want to call in. So we are developing this chat system where you can place this on your website and it'll tap into the exact same AI, give you the exact same information. And also you can give it some more if you want to tweak it, adjust the style. Maybe even there's a certain case that you want to address. You'll be able to address it. This is a good example. It looks like the office is currently closed. I'm still here. I can still try to help. You're welcome to call back. You can do all sorts of really cool, nifty things, and we can help to set this up for you. This will be released probably in the next 2 months, and then it can be placed on your website from the same CallTrak interface as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vlad. The really cool thing about this too, with all the additional information and info that he was showing there, if you have an event that you have, maybe you just met with your recreation team, and you guys wanted to, add a new Halloween event in there, you have the ability to go in and add that in real time and it answer questions for you right off the bat. So super excited for this to go live. I know that the team here at Staylist is super stoked for all of our clients and all of your guests to be able to experience that as well. So I will go back and share my screen with you. So the direct impact, obviously calls and chats are a high intent for interaction, right? And this makes your guests ready to book. What can we do to drive more occupancy? That's always something that we as park operators want to talk about. What can we do to drive better guest experience? Well, CallTrak is going to be that for you. What can I do to lower employment cost? CallTrak's going to do that for you. What can I do to be able to, capture people, save money? the marketing ROI through CallTrak is going to do that for you. You know, all of these things between your AI reservationist to your employment tracking, to your ROI when it comes to marketing are all things that are available for you right at your fingertips, and they are integrated within Staylist. All of your Staylist information bleeds right into CallTrak, and they are basically married to each other. So what more could you want between having all that information directly at your fingertips and being able to offer that to not only your guests, but also to your employees, and to just take a back seat as an operator, as a manager, and just say, whew, I'm doing something right, right? So we'll go through the last ones. AI ensures everyone's captured, even when your team is unavailable. Employee tracking helps coach your team, recognize top performers, and data from calls guides smarter marketing spend and operational decisions. So here we will open the floor for some Q&A. You can scan right here and we'll take you to a spot to reserve a demo if you guys want to dive in a little bit deeper to what CallTrak has to offer. You can take it in small doses. You can go full AI if you want to, or you can start small. And the turnaround time to get you guys up, running, and playing around with this thing is literally like you sleep and you're ready to go. So again, if there's any questions, we'll open the chat now, for some Q&A. Seems like we might have covered it all, huh, Bree?
It does seem that way.
Fantastic. There's also a video that you can watch on here too to recap any of the things that we might have not gone over when it comes to CallTrak. So within that QR code, there is a link for that in there. And again, there's a link for a demo to get one of your friendly Staylist friends to be able to show you everything that CallTrak has to offer.
Yeah, no chats, no Q&A, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you,
Perfect.
everybody, for your time today, and we'll be sending a recap out to everyone who wasn't able to attend. So, always glad to have you all here.
Thanks, Chase. Thanks, Vlad.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks, guys. See
Thank
ya.
you guys. Take care.